ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So if any problem in the discussion, any sound concerns or things, you can just drop into the chat box, okay? And at the end, we'll take question answer also. So in between you get any question or doubt, you just put it into the chat box. So it will be recorded. At the end, we'll discuss on those questions also. Okay. So let's begin our today's discussion. So this is the second chapter. Once again, we can see how it is given acronym as Gita, Gita. Actually, why it is interesting to know, the second chapter is considered as, if you see the title is what? Contents of the Gita summarized. Means whatever is going to unfold into the next all chapters, all the summary is there in the second chapter. That's why the name is also, the acronym is made as Gita. The second chapter itself gives the summary of the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. The Gyan Marga, Yoga, Gyan Kand, or Upasana, or Yogas, or Bhakti Yoga, all those practices or whatever the methods that people approach God and different kinds of modes, everything is being summarized in a brief way. That's why the acronym is also is written here as Gita, Gita. And then we saw how first 10 shlokas they talk about Guru, I is about identity, the verse number 11 to 30, and T about two duties, 31 to 53, and A about Atmaram. So this you can remember. And this is another discussion yesterday we showed. And then this is yesterday we stopped in the 2.7, how Arjuna made his intelligence choice. Arjuna was in a problem. Arjuna was having a, bewildered mind. He was confused, right? Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. He starts beginning. I'm not understanding. I'm confused. And then that's how we discuss some of the points from the purport, that how who is a Brahmana and who is a Kripana. And I hope all of you remember those terms. And we saw the Prabhupada writes in the purport very interestingly, 2.7. He writes, the whole material world is filled with the perplexities. You remember the word? Yesterday we had seen perplexities. Everywhere there are problems. And that's why the last word here you see, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Lord has stamped this world with the nature of Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. And then because of that, it makes us, it behooves us, Prabhupada writes there in the purport, it behooves us to approach a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master, to solve the problems of our life. And then we discuss what are the four real problems and what are the threefold miseries, right? So, yeah. And then before we begin, I'd like to take one small exercise. I'll show you one animation where you'll see the goats are there and they're busy in eating the fresh grass. Okay, so I'll project that animation, and I want to. The question will be: you see that animation, and let us know what do you understand from that. Okay, so whatever we discussed yesterday or before, it will be there on that only. Okay, so I hope you are able to see the screen. So this is a shop of a butcher. Okay, the person is killing the goats inside, and all the goats outside they are in a queue. They are going one by one, and the goats who are waiting in the line, they are happy because they are seeing their dialogue is written here above. Oh, such a tasty grass to eat today. Okay, so can you tell what we can learn from this picture? Especially what we discussed, I mean, all our discussions, the understanding of our human life versus animal life, and then the Brahmana or Kripana or things like that. So using those terms or using those things, what do you feel? What do you understand seeing this animation? You can put into the chat box. Yeah, Gita, I'll show. Once we start the shlokas, I'll show you the Gita. So first this, I just wanted to make you aware about what we discussed yesterday. So that's why I thought this animation, if you can understand and then tell what you can learn from it. Okay. MK Bera Proj is telling, we are busy in gratifying our senses, forgetting the death. Very good. Srinath Puri is telling life is not permanent. Okay. Good, good. Okay, correct. Anything more? Something? Okay, Snehal Chopra is telling Guru is very important. Okay. How in this picture the Guru is related? What we have today may not be the same tomorrow. Okay. Okay, something more direct. Everyone has to die, but animals cannot remember God. Huh. Now more closer you have come. Very good. Yes. Now let's see. Something direct you can say now. You are correct now. You have come more closer, and all the answers are also correct. Whatever before our friends were written here. So especially we're looking for something direct comparison. Now let me ask. Imagine instead of goats, if I keep a human being stand here, okay, and this is a shop where humans are going to get butchered one by one, and because humans have to wait here, I will. I will give the humans for the sake they are waiting, right, as the goats are waiting, so for them the grass is given, the humans are waiting, so I'll give them the nice gadgets, like let's say the smartphones or some kind of a food to eat, some burgers or things what the human enjoy, so that they can have a nice time in the waiting time. So what do you think, what will happen if humans stand there, what will be the emotion? Correct, human obviously will feel, array, first he will ask what for we're waiting here. I says, no my dear friend, you just wait here, your time will also come, you are also going to get butchered, so because you are waiting we're giving you these facilities. So what, immediately human will run away. Why? Because we understand that death is there, I don't want to die. You're understanding? So that's a, whereas animals they cannot. Correct. So animals they cannot understand what the death is, that's how they're busy in eating the grasses. And that's how the scripture says, if the human they doesn't realize, like one of the friend our here he has written the answer, that we are busy in eating the grasses. I'll just read out. Material world pleasures are like grass which goats are enjoying. Very good. So if humans, if they don't realize that one day I am also going to die, and he's busy in the enjoying this worldly things only, which are like a green grasses, then he is also considered as animal. And that's why yesterday we saw that who is a Brahmana, and who is a Kripana, correct? So very good. So Brahmana is the one who can understand that what are the real problems of life, and he uses the human form of life in a best way. Whereas Kripana is the one miserly person who has got the best gift of the human form of life, but then he is not using. He's being told that okay, you read Bhagavad Gita, you chant every day, or you associate ABCD formula. Yesterday we discussed, but he doesn't take interest. He doesn't utilize his human body for what purpose it is being given. So that's why he becomes as Kripana. Thank you. And then let's clear some of the basics before we get into, because yesterday in one of the shloka 2.7 at the end it was written that we should learn the Bhagavad Gita in the spirit of Arjuna. Why? Because Prabhupada writes Krishna consciousness is also a science, right? We all of us, I'm sure we have studied our basics of 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th, 12th, whatever. And in that science subject, we know we do the chemical experiments, we mix some two acids and then the pH point or whatever we measure. So science means what? You follow particular procedure, you will get the result. If you don't follow the procedure, then you cannot expect. Like let's say the pH point we calculate. So at what point the liquid changes its color, means it has become from acid to base, or whatever we say it is. So because it is a procedure we have to follow to get the result. If you don't follow the procedure, then it will not function. So same thing in Krishna consciousness also, or for that matter, to say in a generalized way, the science, when we go to the God, unfortunately this is not being discussed, this is not being taught. So people think all the knowledge about God is just a mythology, or it is of just for the sake of good entertainment. It is not nothing relevant. Who knows God exists? Who knows what things are true or not? And that's how they think it is not meant for our practice. But then Prabhupada once was been asked by a reporter, oh, Swamiji, you have spent your whole life for the God, for Krishna, you are telling. But then imagine at the end of your life, you come to know that Krishna doesn't exist. What you will do? Then Prabhupada replied to that reporter, Prabhupada said, okay, fine, but at least our life was good. We lived in a proper way. We had a good food. We have a good people around, and we spent in a proper, nice, cultured way. And then Prabhupada asked the question to reporter, if at the end of your life, if you come to know that there is God, what you will do? Correct? So it's very, very important. If you follow this God conscious, Krishna conscious practices, what is being told to us, then surely it will work. But the people who don't follow, then because they neither have faith, they neither accept, they neither hear, then surely their life will be filled with the problems. I mean, they'll not be able to utilize the human form of life for which actually it is meant for. So that's why Krishna consciousness is a science. And then when it is a science, it has, like in science, we have theory and we have practical, correct? Both. We learn in the class from the teacher, and we go to the laboratory, we do the experiment. Okay, fine, the teacher has taught these are the acids, or teacher has taught this is a programming, this the syntax we should write like this and all. And then we were able to see in the laboratory while doing the coding or experiments or things, correct? So same thing, spiritual life also, Prabhupada explains. Spiritual means what? Spirit plus ritual. Okay. So spirit means what? We understand the theory. We understand the reason behind all those practices. We understand the reason of our human existence. We understand why the whole world is there around us, correct? This is all the theory knowledge. But the ritual means what? We lead our life based on those principles. Krishna says, Manmana Bhava Bhakto, become my devotee, offer worship to me, chant my holy names, and then avoid sinful activities, correct? We discussed no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So these are the practices. So that's why I said in the beginning. So we are discussing, all of you are also spending your 1 hour so much. So just make sure that that knowledge you are exercising into your life in the terms of chanting every day, or avoiding those sinful activities from our life. So then that will become a spiritual, spirit plus ritual. And then that's why it's very, very important to from whom we're understanding this knowledge, correct? Like let's say in YouTube, you can just Google it out, Bhagavad Gita sessions. You'll find so many speakers with more and more kind of viewers or more likes or whatever it is. But then if we see that those as a parameter to hearing from them, then we are missing out. We'll not get the proper understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why Prabhupada wrote in the 2.7 purport. We should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. And Arjuna accepted Krishna, and we also should accept Krishna, who is coming in the disciplic succession. So there are 4 sampradayas. Krishna gave knowledge to Brahma, to Lakshmi, to Shiva, and Kumaras. So that's what the 4, these are the sampradaya: Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, and Brahma's Sampradaya. So that's how the knowledge is coming down. And so anybody speaks about God, we have to check, is he connected to those parampara? Like Prabhupada, we are in parampara of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. In Brahma Sampradaya, Madhvacharya came, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then down the line, disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada. And now we have his disciples. And that's how we are learning in a parampara. Or Sri Sampradaya, all of you know Ramanujacharya, correct? All those are Nimbark Swami in the Rudra Sampradaya, correct? All those acharyas are there. So anybody speaks about God, we have to first check. Or for that matter, even Bhagavad Gita also, or any books also. Like yesterday, one of our friend was asking that about Bhagavad Gita, when can we read? Or even many people ask, which Bhagavad Gita shall I read? Because there are so many versions of Bhagavad Gita. So because if the authors are not in parampara, then they write what their mind says. But Prabhupada, when he wrote Bhagavad Gita, what is the title of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita? Anyone knows? There is one small caption also. Along with the Bhagavad Gita, there is one small caption is also given on the top. Yeah, very good. Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is a unique selling point. USP, every product has USP, correct? So this is the beauty of Prabhupada's contribution. Prabhupada said, I am not changing anything. I am just repeating the words of Parampara, what the teacher and what Krishna wants to tell. And that's why we see such a great transformation when we read those purports. We get such a great wisdom because Prabhupada is not putting what he wants to tell, but Prabhupada is repeating the words of Krishna and all the parampara. And that's why there is a great impact. Not only, in India only, but Prabhupada went abroad and now Bhagavad Gita as it is translated all over the world, more than 60 languages. World has so many languages and so many people are getting transformed. So it's very, very important to get in authorized parampara. And same thing, like Guru, we have to accept ABCD. Yesterday we discussed A for association of a saintly people. And especially Arjuna approached Krishna. Arjuna told, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Now I accept you as my Guru and I am your disciple, a soul surrender unto you. Right? Yesterday, that 2.7 we saw. So in our life also, until we accept a Guru, there is not possibility to connect with Krishna. So it's very, very important to, because Gurus are like representative of God. They're like carriers of Krishna. They're carriers of God Himself. So they are like let's say we have the salesman, correct? Salesman comes and they distribute the products or they sell their products. So Gurus are the one, the spiritual master are the one who are representative of Krishna. They are the salesman on behalf of Krishna. And they're advertising everywhere around that please accept Krishna. Please, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chant the Krishna's name. Read about Krishna. So, yesterday, one of our friend had written in the chat box. We see many sadhus, and in Kashi or many holy places we go, there are sadhus are there. But then we have to be careful again for who is a sadhu we are accepting in our life also, as a guru or as a spiritual teachers and all. So it's very great mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who so boldly presented and flatly, openly he challenged all the so-called bogus gurus. And Prabhupada used to say, India is a factory of gods. Everywhere people, they become God, or they say you can also become God. Anybody can do whatever you like and then give us some dakshina and then, okay, fine, your all bad things will go away. These are all bogus teachings. So Prabhupada did not compromise. Prabhupada went to US and Prabhupada had a great struggle to get the people to accept Krishna consciousness. And afterwards it started, and one of the man approached Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, you told those 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So out of those 4, 3 are okay, but the 4th one, if you can remove, you will get many people. That is no illicit sex. You allow the man and woman enjoy their relationships and all. In Western world, it is too common. So Prabhupada said, you know what? Prabhupada replied, I did not came here to flatter your senses. I came here what Krishna wants to tell us to practice in our life. So Prabhupada said, I am not here to get the followers. I am here for people who are really interested to accept about Krishna. People who are really interested to looking to follow those principles. So that is a unique, Prabhupada's contribution. So we should be very grateful to Prabhupada, who is so, and then he created such a wonderful disciples. Now Prabhupada is physically not there, but he has his representative, his spiritual masters, who are there and who are giving the message again. So that's how we have to be careful from whom we are hearing. Okay, because all of you are spending your times, we really appreciate all of you. But then other times, make sure that like let's say you come across TVs also, they show many channels about Gita or many talks about Gita. So we have to be careful. If they're not authorized, if they're not in parampara, then the knowledge what we'll hear, it will create a doubts into our heart. It will not be having any positive impact. So that's how we have to be careful for whom we are hearing. And if you hear from unauthorized people, then it is like what the Prabhupada writes the example. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, who is a spiritual master of Prabhupada, he says it's like what licking a honey bottle from outside. There is a nice honey bottle, fresh honey is packed, but then the people, those who are not authorized, those who are not in a disciplic succession in those four sampradayas, then they are giving the knowledge about Gita is like what? They're tasting the honey from outside the bottle. They're licking the bottle from outside. They will never ever find the true meaning of the honey, what it is, the true taste of honey. So that's why Gita is a secret actually. But then it is open secret. Provided one who is connected in a proper sampradaya, he will be able to understand. And that's how Prabhupada's knowledge is so amazing. And then, yeah, that's how Srila Prabhupada gave us Bhagavad Gita as it is. So let's begin our today's discussion. What I'll do, I'll make the Gita on one side and give me just a minute, okay? So that you can see the PPT also and you can see the Gita also. Okay, yeah. Now I'll put the share screen. Yeah. So I hope now you are able to see both, right? The right side is the PPT and this side is the shlokas, so that you can just open that. Actually, if some of you don't have Bhagavad Gitas at your home, if you want, you can just send your address. The courier will come to your home from our temple side. The postal service is also open. So if you don't have Bhagavad Gita copy, you can please look forward for having that. You can send us your address in your communication group, what you get on WhatsApp. Then the copies will be delivered to you. You want Telugu or English, whatever language, Hindi, you can check. So I hope you are able to see both screens, okay? Now you are able to see the Gita also and the PPT also. Is it clear? Are you able to see both? Yeah, okay. Okay. So this was a 2.7 yesterday where Arjuna approaches to Krishna saying that now I am a disciple, a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. And then of course in that we saw detail how there is a need to accept a spiritual master. Material world, it is like a forest fire, which we don't want, but it gets set up automatically. So problems also in this world, they are like that. And then Prabhupada explained who is a Brahmana and who is a Kripana. And the skin disease, right? Yesterday we discussed the attachment. And what is the word we say opposite of attachment? Attachment is condemned, but what we should have in our relationships, like let's say there is a husband and wife, or let's say children and the father and mother. So if you have attachment, that will remain on the bodily status only. So yeah, correct. This is called as what? Affection. Yeah. The true word is what? Affection. And that affection brings out the one to the true responsibilities towards our subordinate or the people who are depending upon us. Like let's say many of you may be the parents. So that affection brings out the true responsibility of making our children also to connect with the God. Now God has sent us that soul into our life as our son. Now he is under our custody. So he will grow as per what culture we give to him at home, right? So that's why it's very important to care for our family members and then surely connect them with the God. Whereas attachment, people just, that is a skin disease. Because he is related to me, because he's my relative, that's all. I'll not bother about anything. Me and my family, that's all. And then they don't think of any broader perspective. So that's why attachment is condemned in the scriptures. And then let's begin our 2.8. nahi prapashyami mamapanudyad uchhokamuchhokshanamindriyanam avapya bhuvam asapatnam ruddham rajyam suranam apichadhipatyam. He's telling what is the use of having this rajya, the kingdom, which is like even like a suranam, even the devatas. We can have a kingdom like even the devatas, but it is of no use, oh Krishna. If all those are relatives and all, for that sake we have to take those things. I cannot find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I'll not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like that of the demigods in the heaven. So I can get the kingdom which is like even devatas, they have heavens, right? I can have that kind of kingdom also, but what's the use? Because all our relatives and all, I have to kill them. At that cost, I'm going to get. What's the point of having that? So please dispel my ignorance, oh Krishna. And then yesterday, we were discussing the point of how Prabhupada is writing here. Arjuna was well learned. He was knowing the codes of religion. He was a great Kshatriya also. But then Prabhupada brought out the important point. So-called knowledge was useless in driving away his problem. Correct? So, and then later here also we read, academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. So, what are those problems? Can somebody recall? So, please don't understand in a wrong way, because you may say, "Arey sir, we are learning, we are also going to school and colleges, we are doing jobs, we have some position into society. How you are saying these are useless?" Because of that, we are able to maintain our family, maintain our life, we are able to communicate, we are able to learn also this science also because of that things only. But especially here, what we are talking about the problems. Yeah, correct. Problem means uh, yesterday we discussed four real problems and threefold miseries. The four real problems are birth, old age, disease, and death. BODD. You can. And threefold miseries are Adi Atmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika. Problems caused by my own body and mind, problem caused by the surroundings, and the problem caused by the supernatural calamities like hurricane, tsunamis, earthquakes, right? So these are the things. So those things, no, science and technology cannot help us to solve. Can science and technology make us to stop from the old age? Can they help us to progress from the death, not to get die or things? Not possible. So therefore, conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master. Okay, we discuss who is authorized or a bona fide spiritual master. So who is Prabhupada is giving the criteria, the trademark. I mean the what do you say, the eligibility criteria for becoming a spiritual master, accepting somebody person in our life as a guru, who is 100% Krishna conscious. Means basically is what? His desire, his will, his life is exactly what Krishna wants to follow. He doesn't have any personal motives, he doesn't have any personal agendas. And that's how we see many so-called gurus in the society, they get some scandals, get trapped with the money, or some scandals with the women and around, right? Because they did not follow, they just went on their worldly way only. So the Prabhupada is telling the only one who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. And that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says how who can be called as a guru or a spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya is none other than Krishna himself. Okay, so Prabhupada gives that quotation. Kiva vipra kiva nyasi shudra kene nai yehi Krishna tattva veta sei guru hai. It doesn't matter whether a person is a Vipra, a Brahmana, or born in a lower family or in a renowned wanderer. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is a perfect bona fide spiritual master. Very simple. So Prabhupada was asked many times, how to know that person is really a devotee of Krishna or not, or a bona fide guru or not. Prabhupada says he has complete love for Krishna. He is 100% lover of Krishna. That's all. Right? So without being a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, no one is a bona fide spiritual master. And that's how we began our today's discussion. Again, this is another shloka which is said by Prahlad Maharaj. Shat karma, not Prahlad Maharaj, I'm sorry, this is told by in Padma Puran it comes. Shat karma nipuno vipro, mantra tantra visharada. Okay, one may be telling a lot of mantras, tantras, He may be expert into the many karma kanda processes and all, scholarly Brahmana basically. A Vaishnava, but he will be a Vaishnava. Why? Because he is not he's not surrendered to Krishna. Whereas we can accept Guru, one who is even Swapacha. Okay, Shwa means actually dog, and Swapacha means one who digests the dog, one who is a dog eater. Can you imagine? I mean, we say no meat eating, but here, if even he is a dog eater, but if he surrenders to Krishna, we can accept him as a Guru. But so-called Brahmana, or so-called a person who possesses himself as a Brahmana or things and all, but if he is not a devotee of Krishna, he cannot be accepted. Such a standard it is. A scholarly Brahmana, expert in all the subject of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava or a Krishna consciousness. So we should not go on the externals. This is very, very important. In the society, many so-called Brahmanas are there, Panditas are there, right? I mean, they do their rituals, pujas and all, and that's how they go back. But then we have to really check, is my investment of the time and money with the so-called Brahmanas I'm giving, are they really bona fide, or are they just for the sake of business? Like we have engineers, doctors, like that Brahmana possession, the job also somebody takes, so that anybody wants puja in the home, we can go and do the pujas. That's all. They're not practicing themselves, then what they chant mantras, what they do the pujas will have no effect. That's how we have to be very, very careful. So whom we are practicing our God consciousness with. And then Prabhupada explaining again the problems of like birth, old age, disease, death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth or economic development. Okay. So in many parts of the world, Prabhupada is writing, they are replete, they are completely filled with all the facilities using their economy. Yet the problems of material existence are still present. Right. So that's how Prabhupada is explaining so clearly. They are seeking peace in different ways. Many Western people, they are looking towards India because they want some yoga practices. They have so much stress, tension, and no relationships and things and all. So much hodgepodge. Although wealth is there, comfort is there, but the peace of mind is not there. Rather, it is pieces of mind. No peace of mind, but the pieces of mind. Mind has turned into so many pieces because of tension and anxiety. Then Prabhupada is writing again, but they can achieve real happiness only if they consult Krishna or Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna through the bona fide representative of Krishna. And then again, the Prabhupada is explaining, if economic development comforts can drive away one's lamentation, then Arjuna would have not said even the, because Arjuna was expert. He was the best of the, he was so expert and all, he would have, he's like a powerful man. But why he is telling that he is also in a lamentation, he is also in a problem. So that shows that those things cannot solve our problems. So that's why he sought therefore refuge in Krishna consciousness. That is the right path of peace and harmony in our life. And then Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, it will come in the further also, Kshine Punne Martya Lokam Vishanti. When one does pious activities means what? Very simple. So-called activity, good activities in this world, but in which Krishna is not involved. Like let's say I give the charity, the food to the people, the clothes to the poor or orphans, but it is not connected with Krishna at all. So that comes under pious activities. That is not devotional activity. That is not spiritual activity. So but then people do so much pious activities, giving food, giving a lot of money for the poor people or things. They, because of that pious activities, they will go to heavens, they will enjoy how much amount of pious activity they did. Based on that, they will be able to enjoy. But once that credits are over, again they will be born onto the earth. Kshine Punne, Kshine means gets over, Punne means the pious activities. Martya Lokam Vishanti. This earth is called as a Martya Loka, where everybody is dying. Martya means Mrityu. Loka means the planet, where the deaths are happening constantly. Again, they enter into this planet of death. So there is no point of, there is no, I mean, no meaning for even doing some pious activities also to solve the problems of life. So that's how Prabhupada says. Therefore, if you want to curb lamentation, our life is filled with lamentation, isn't it? We get so much problem, stress, in spite of all our best efforts. Then we have to take shelter of Krishna, as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asked Krishna to solve his problems definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness. So here in the presentation, we have made some points based on this purport. Yeah, these are our yesterday's revision, approaching Guru and all. Yeah. So this is the 2.8, and we have given the title, Material Acquisition Cannot Help to Solve the Problems of Life. So what is a, let's say somebody say we have developed science and technology, problems are at least we're able to solve relatively. But what is the nature of the solution given by science and technology? They're like a temporary solution or a patch up solution. Like let's say I get a white hairs. I have problem of white hair. So I can apply hair dye. So my problem is gone. There are no white hairs now. See, science has given the solution. But what happens again after 2 3 days or a week or so? Again it starts becoming whiter. Again I have to apply. So this is called as a patch up solution, temporary solution. They're not able to solve the problem from root. You're understanding? So we have to be externally somebody super, like here we are given the example. Once what happened, one girl got a pimple on her face and she went to the skin expert, the doctor, and the doctor gave her ointment, and doctor told apply on your face and in the night it will go away. So she applied on the face, she slept, and next day morning pimple went. But then this she saw another side it came. Again she applied, but third day it came on hand. Then the legs. It was spreading on the body only. It was not going for the permanently. Then she went to the skin specialist, the skin expert. And then that doctor told, problem is not with the pimple on the skin. The problem is in the blood. The blood is impure because impure blood is circulating in the body. That's why it is spreading everywhere. So this is like what applying ointment is, what is like what patch up solution. For the time being it goes, but again it comes some other part. Again it comes on another side of the body. You're understanding? But then the real solution is what? Oh, blood has to be purified. Then there is no more pimple. There is no more problem. So science and technology has failed to take into consideration of the words of God, words of Dharma, and then develop the life based on that. Because of that, they have not taken into consideration the words of God. Now whatever solution they're able to give, they're only the temporary solution. Like let's say presently this pandemic is going on. Now they may try to create some medicine or vaccine for that. But then again afterwards some another pandemic will come. We don't know. And that's how we saw the history also. It repeats. It's coming and going. But they don't understand because they neglected the laws of God. They're killing the animals in wholesale. Now the nature is giving the slap. Nature is giving a punishment. Now this pandemic. So if they solve that level, then naturally Mother Earth will supply in so much abundance. There'll be no problem at all, right? So when Pandavas were ruling the planet Earth, it is said that when the rain water comes, right, it creates a mud on the ground. When the Pandavas ruling the kingdom, it was that time the mud was not because of the rainwater, but because of the milk, which is falling from the udder of the cow, mother cow. Mother cows, they were so much in abundance, they were so much in a happy state. The milk was coming out from their udder, and that's how it created a mud. So much opulence, so much richness it was. Why? Because it was ruled by a God conscious person, a Krishna conscious person. But now presently the governments or things and all, if the Krishna is not taken into the consideration, the words of Krishna are not being followed, then only we'll get a temporary solution. That's how it will happen. I have old age, I'm getting wrinkled skin. You can apply facelift so that my skin becomes look like young and all. But no, my dear friends, again it will going to become old. Skin, the old age we cannot stop. So science and technology can help us to solve only the temporary level. They don't give the permanent solution. Like we have written the example of Muhammad Ali. All of you know he was a great boxer and he was winning the matches, and he told, I am the greatest. But you know what happened to him in the later phase of his life? He got a Parkinson disease, paralyzed. His body was paralyzed, and he was invited to come for Olympic matches, Olympic tournaments to lit up the torch to inaugurate that. But he was not able to lift even the torch. Also, his hand was shaking. So some people has to support him and to lift that. Right? And then again the reporter came and asked him, sir, you said you are the greatest. Now what do you say about your life? And he replied, yes, I am the greatest. But now I understood, I am the greatest fool. I was thinking I am powerful, I am champion, nothing can happen to my life. And that's how we also measure in our life also. Oh, I have insurance, I have a nice house, now I am settled with the family, now my children are also into the good school and college. Now there will be no problem to my life. Means what? We're considering our life based on the worldly things, which are always in the flux, which are always going to get ups and down in the life. So that's how we have to understand. If we consider these worldly things as a solution to the problems of life, then we are getting some wrong way. Until we become Krishna conscious, until we establish the dharma in our life, the problems won't be solved. So that's the point. And Prabhupada narrates this wonderful story. Once the scientist went to the village to study about the structures and the rivers and the mountains, because villages they're like in the mountain areas and all. So and then he wanted to cross the river, so he got into the boatman. Boatman was there, and the boatman started steering the boat, and the scientist was there. And right in the middle of the river, the heavy rain started coming, and it was so storm it is. And then the boatman asked the scientist, "My dear sir, do you know swimming?" Then scientist said, "No, no, but I am very good at physics. I am master of physics." Okay, okay, but then what about swimming? Then scientist said, "No, no, but I can study maths. I can say about chemistry and all." Then boatman told, "Your life is useless." Actually, it is reverse. I'm sorry. Scientist, while going in the journey, scientist asked the boatman, "So, boatman, do you know mathematics?" Boatman said, "No, no, sir. I am a village man. I am illiterate. What can be done?" So, scientist said, "Your 25% of life is waste." Then the scientist again asked, "At least do you studied some physics or some chemistry, some school?" Boatman said, "No, I never ever went to schools. I don't know anything also. I cannot read also." The scientist told, "Your 75% of life is waste." And then the rain starts coming. And then the boatman asked the scientist, "Sir, do you know swimming?" Scientist said, "No, no, I don't know swimming." Then the boatman said, "Sir, your 100% life is waste." Because now boat is going to drown. What is use of your physics or chemistry or maths? You cannot save your life only. So the Prabhupada wanted to say the lesson from that story is we have to understand the real problems of life. That's why Bhagavad Gita says, 13th chapter, you'll see Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. 18 items of knowledge. In that, one of the item is said, if somebody understands that birth, old age, disease, death, these are the real problems of life, and our life is meant for solving those problems, not the economical problem, not the social issues and things. They will keep coming and going. There is no end for that. But human form of life, such a rare chance, such a rare opportunity we have got. And why it is rare? Because we don't know our end also. Any moment the person will die, any fine moment anything can happen, person is dead. So human life is gone. That's why every day is opportunity for us. We should begin our everyday thinking that today is my last day. So how shall I behave? How shall I deal? Because death is uncertain, correct? So then what will come to help our life? Nothing. Whatever we have earned, whatever we have studied and all, that helps us to maintain in this world. But then what about the life after death? We are not worked upon that. So that's how material acquisition cannot help us. And WHO statistics also says they have done a survey to find out which country is the most happy and satisfied. And they found out general expectation is what everybody wants to fly abroad, go to the US or the Russia or European countries and enjoy the life, because those countries are having a great comforts, great luxuries, and we can also have a nice fun. But statistics, they found out the countries like Bhutan or Bangladesh were like very very low. They're well behind than all those great giants of technology. They're not in a list of comparison of even economical index also. But those countries, they're more happy and satisfied. People are most contented. Whereas wealth countries like America or Europe, like one of our friend, I was telling all of you also, he was working in a college after his PhD from IIT, and then he got job in the college, and his college was sending him to France, because that college was related with the France, collaborated with France. And he went there, and then there it was warned to them that never ever be alone, because anything can happen. Crime rate is very very high. So we don't come to know about these realities, but we know the good. They show only the good things. They don't show the realities of the countries. New York is a maximum crime rate. New York is a famous city. We know about the state is things and all, but maximum crime rate. Why? Although technology is there, well, material acquisitions are there, lot of wealth, good comforts, good facilities, right? But why? What is it? There is death threats. So many. Life is always challenged. And then this pandemic, we can see, I'll show you one video now. You'll understand that how this pandemic is causing us, making us completely. Although the great countries like America. Okay, you are seeing the video screen. Can somebody confirm? Are you able to see the video screen? Yeah. Okay. So you can watch this video. You'll understand that. He is all of you know this Trump is a great president of the great country of America, who is a topmost economical level. So what he says for this pandemic, you can hear.
Today I'm identifying houses of worship, churches, synagogue, and mosques as essential places that provide essential services. Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics as essential, but have left out churches and other houses of worship. It's not right. So I'm correcting this injustice and calling houses of worship essential. I call upon governors to allow our churches and places of worship to open right now. If there's any question, they're going to have to call me, but they're not going to be successful in that call. These are places that hold our society together and keep our people united. The people are demanding to go to church and synagogue, go to their mosque. Many millions of Americans embrace worship as an essential part of life. The ministers, pastors, rabbis, imams, and other faith leaders will make sure that their congregations are safe as they gather and pray. I know them well. They love their congregations. They love their people. They don't want anything bad to happen to them or to anybody else. The governors need to do the right thing and allow these very important, essential places of faith to open right now for this weekend. If they don't do it, I will override the governors. In America, we need more prayer, not less. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So what he's telling, in America, we need more prayers, not less. So where is now their economy has gone? What happened to their economy? Correct? So it's not possible. No matter how much or wealthy we are or whatever we have in our life, until we are connect to the God, until we surrender to Krishna and accept the path of Dharma, nothing can help us. He's telling now we need more prayers. This is a video is taken just during last 1.5 month back when the COVID was too much extreme. The America was completely in chaos. Nothing was sure. Now he's telling we order right now the churches, the houses of worship to open urgently. So now why these things are happening? Because they never ever followed from beginning. Nobody followed those things. Now India also there is a situation. It's not that India is freed from those things, but people are already well cultured. People know that God is there, and our practice of Krishna consciousness or God worship will surely God will do the good things for us. So they are not in so much panic, right? But whereas the Western world, they're not, I mean, there never ever been such kind of things. They never expected that America can happen, some things like this. But one nature slap comes, finished, whole economy, everything gets collapsed. So when we turn away from God, we invite suffering into our life. But when we align ourselves, then we can truly become happy. That's why we used to say to the children's we teach, right? No God, no peace. But if you know God, then you will know what actually peace is. So first two no's are N-O. If you know God, there is no peace. But if you know God, K-N-O-W, you will know the peace, K-N-O-W. So that's how it's our human life is meant only to be aligned with the Lord. Then only it will be truly meaningful. So like a naughty children, forgetful of the living entities, become attracted to the glittering illusion of the false beauty of the object of this material world. So Krishna is so, I mean, people get attracted to the external glamours, what the movie shows, what the channel shows and things and all. But the reality is something different only. And then they get these wrong illusions, they get attracted. Then later they get lament, they lament for their life. And what is the practical proof? Srila Prabhupada went to America. And there were so many hippies. Hippies are the people during 1970s. Practically, they were like left their families. They were the good, richest family and all children from those. But they left their families and they were loitering on the roads, taking drugs, mixing with women, and taking to cigars and all kind of things. They're as good as like street people. They became street people because there was no peace in the society. But Prabhupada went right into the New York, 26 Second Avenue, which is like a central place of all those hippies. And right there, he started kirtan, gave the holy names, gave them the prasad, gave them the philosophy, and he made hippies into happies. And American government also were shocked how this one Swami is able to turn those people, which we are not able to control. They are our own people, but here they are not able to do. So Prabhupada said, you never ever gave them. You have churches, you have opened up, but you never ever taught what the true love of God is, what the true path of God is. But I am giving them, I'm old man. And in America, the saying is never ever listen to the man who is above 30 years. Means they don't trust the old people. But Srila Prabhupada, 70-year-old man, he went without any money, without any having a great glamours and all. Just the two things he had: faith on the holy names, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, solid faith. And the second, faith on the instruction of his spiritual master, who is coming in a bona fide sampradaya. With that faith, he went, because it is order of his guru to spread the knowledge all across the world. And you see how it happened. So where is those material acquisition went? It was useless. It was no point. And then in the 2.9, we'll just see that, and then we'll take question answer. Time is getting ended. So they're short shlokas only. 2.9, Sanjay, afterwards Arjuna laments, he collapses, in the sense he surrenders to the god. And then finally, seeing the situation, Arjuna says, Eva muktva rushikesham gudakesha parantapa nayotseti govindam uktva tushnim bahuvaha. So, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastised of enemy, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight. And he felt silent. Arjuna declared, I am not fighting. And Prabhupada writes very nicely, Dhritarashtra thought, oh nice, Arjuna is not going to fight, very good. But Sanjaya told, Sanjay used the word what? Parantapa, he is a killer of enemy. And for Krishna, the word is used, Rushikesha. Eva Mukta, Rushikesham, correct? And Govinda also. So, if you remember, this purport is short only. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation, from the family affection, and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness. And then he will surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated, since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to an end. And then the 10th shloka, again the Sanjaya says, Tam uvacha Rushikesha prahasanniva bharata Senayorubhayor madhye vishidantam idam vacha. O descendant of Bharat, at that time Krishna smiling in the midst of both the armies. Okay, the Arjuna had told Krishna to bring the chariot. Senayorubhayor madhye ratam stapayame achyuta. We saw in the first chapter. So chariot was right in the midst of both the armies. Okay, so that point Krishna was smiling and spoke the following words. Now from 11 onwards, the Krishna's words are going to come. Such a amazing teachings Krishna begins to give the Arjuna. That's how he comes to the proper understanding. And then Prabhupada explained the situation. Here Prabhupada is writing, as for Lord, he is always superior position. But when he accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master. Because Arjuna and Krishna, they were friends before. But when Arjuna told, I am now surrender unto you, please accept me as your disciple, then Krishna also assumed the role as the master. So Krishna is ready to accept the role as per our wish. Can you imagine? Krishna is ready. We want Krishna to dictate our life. Krishna is there. We want to be forgetful of God. Krishna will give forgetfulness. So that's how it's for our own. Then Prabhupada writes, here Krishna is speaking, right here. It appears that the talk between the master and disciple was openly exchanged. Okay. It's not that Krishna took Arjuna in the corner in some tent or something. They secretly spoke and things. No. It was open discussion. And then Prabhupada writes very amazing line. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person or society or community. They are for all friends and enemies, equally entitled to hear them. So we have just drawn some lessons. I'll just show you, and then we'll take the questions. Yeah, Rushikesha. Whose life we are giving, our life in whose hand we are giving? Arjuna gave his ropes in the hand of Rushikesha. Rushikesha means what? The master of the senses. Right? Rushikena Rushikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. So Arjuna very intelligently gave the rope of his life in the hand of Krishna. So our life also we have to check. Are we giving our life with the modern medias, with the worldly acquisitions, or are we giving our life in the hand of God? We are aligning ourselves in the hand of Krishna. And then this fruit vendor story, next time we'll discuss the lesson. And then the 2.10, when Arjuna, Prabhupada is writing, right? Such talks are open. It's meant for everybody. So that only is possible to bring the universal brotherhood, because Krishna is a common point. Then everybody, it will become by accepting universal fatherhood. It's not that Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Gita only for Indians, not for Westerns. No. So that's how it's Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It says that this family will be how. In our home also we have to check. Now in the olden days, some of you will be knowing surely, the joint family used to be there. All the fathers, mothers, the uncles, the grandfathers, the joint family. At least I also remember our families is together. But nowadays, because God has removed from the families also has become nucleus. Everybody gets separated. The moment another family gets added to the family, Like let's say the person gets married, then immediately they get separate from their parents. They want to be themselves to be separate. Why? Because we are not common, the God is not there in the common point. So naturally there will be no peace, no prosperity, then there will be fights, there will be quarrels. So only solution, keeping Krishna in the center. And that's why Prabhupada established a home in which the whole world can live. Whole world can stay. That's how we see, we have in our ISKCON society, we have Westerners, we have Indians, we have educated, illiterate, everybody, all are welcome. That's why Prabhupada is writing at the end of the purport. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is open for everyone. So it is for our own good purpose to bring out that real peace, to bring out that good harmony into our life, in our relationships and every way, following the God, following Krishna. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita. And then tomorrow, this discussion will begin from 2.11 to 30, where Krishna starts beginning. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, and very beautiful sections. Krishna said. So that is I, Gita I, right? Correct? So identify, who are you? What is our true identity? So we rushed a little bit at the end, but most of the things we wanted to cover. The quick revision is, we saw importance of accepting bona fide spiritual master in authorized parampara, and then who is a Brahman and Kripana. We did that goat exercise also, right? And then we saw the lessons like modern acquisitions, modern amenities cannot help us to solve the true problems of our life. We saw the example of the nature of solution given by modern science and technology is like a patch-up solution, temporary solution. And logically also, you see, number of hospitals are increasing. If really medical science is increasing in technology, ideally number of patients should reduce, number of hospitals should reduce. But number of hospitals are increasing more and more. That shows what? In spite of development of technology, the diseases are increasing more and more. So that we saw Muhammad Ali's example, we saw, and then this that video also we showed you. So many points can be discussed, but then the solution is what? Add God into our life, and that's how chanting is the best medium given for all of us. So officially we'll end. If somebody wants to leave because of time constraint, they can leave. The questions we will take. Okay. Let's make it big. Okay. Gita is in between Krishna and Arjun. Sanjaya heard here Gita because of Divya Drushti. But how Vyas Muni know? Okay, good question. So actually Vyas Muni is none other than Krishna only. He's a literary incarnation of Lord. And he has Trikala Drishti. Means he can see the past, present and future. That's how he has written down whole Mahabharata and everything, all the scriptures, Puranas, the divisions. And not only that, Vyasdev was personally present also during the Mahabharata time. I mean, when Krishna was there, all the situations wherever Krishna was there in Dwarka or things, the Vyas Muni was always there associating with Krishna. And that's how everybody was knowing about Gita and all. And especially they are like not ordinary people. Sanjaya, you know who is Sanjaya? Sanjaya is a disciple of Vyas Muni only. So Sanjaya got vision because of Vyasa Prasadat. In the last shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, when Gita concludes, Sanjaya thanks his guru Vyasadeva. Vyasa Prasadat, because of the mercy of Vyasadeva, I was also able to see this divine talk. And that's how he glorifies his guru. Now if guru is able to make disciple to see the things, why not guru will be able to see? So that's we can understand. I hope that makes sense. And okay. Any other questions? What prayers to chant while offering food to God? Okay, I'll ask our friends because it starts with we pray to Prabhupada because we cannot go to Krishna directly. We don't have any qualification. Like we cannot go Prime Minister directly. We have to go through some people who know, and then they can recruit us towards the Prime Minister. Same way we cannot approach Krishna directly. We go through the Guru Parampara. So Prabhupada, our spiritual master, then Prabhupada, and then the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Krishna. Like that, there are series of prayers. So I'll share on the post. I'll ask our coordinators, they will share on the post. You can take a note of that. So when we prepare a plate to keep in front of God, 2 points we have to make sure. We don't offer God onion garlic. We don't offer Krishna onion garlic, okay? And then other preparations, we keep a tulsi leaf before offering because Krishna accepts very easily when he sees the tulsi. Tulsi is very dear to Krishna. Tulsi is a very devoted to Krishna. So we don't have so much heart, we don't have so much love for God. But then when we recommended by Tulsi, seeing Tulsi, Krishna accepts very easily. And that photo we shared with all of you, that poster. So you can take a print or something and then nicely keep in your God's place. And you can keep a plate with the tulsi, and those prayer you can recite. And for 5 to 10 minutes, you can keep in front of God, and then you can take that food as prasad. Accumulation means, I did not get. You can once again write that spelling. Accumulation, material accumulation. Yeah, accumulation may be like a gathering, collecting the worldly things only. That may be the meaning. That how can meat eater be Krishna conscious? Yeah, that's possible. I mean, in the sense, the power of God is so much that even one who may be so degraded, he can also become Krishna conscious. And anybody knows who is that famous personality who was a hunter before, was killing the animals, but he became a great sage. Anybody knows who is that person? You can write the answer. Okay. Mrugari, yeah, maybe Prabhuji may be knowing because he is there with us. But any famous, that person, that sage is famous, everybody knows because he wrote the great epic. He wrote the great scripture also. He was hunter before. Yeah, correct. He's a Valmiki. So he was a Valya Kodi before, correct? He was a hunter. And Narad Muni goes and says, chant Rama's name. He was so cruel hunter. He was such a sinful person. He was not able to even pronounce also Ram, Ram, Ram. But then Mara. Then Narad Muni told, okay, fine, you chant Mara. Because Marna, Hindi mein, to kill means to Marna. And his business was Janwaro ko Marna. So he was able to chant Mara. Then he said, okay, fine, chant Mara. They started Ram, 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 Ram. It became Ram. And just by chanting the names of Lord Ram, he became such a great transformed. So this is proofs we have. So surely then whoever, like Prabhupada went to, we gave you the example of Prabhupada. He went to the hippie land, America. People were so degraded. Practically they had broken all the 4 regulative principles. But Prabhupada gave them the holy name. Prabhupada gave them the holy prasad. Prabhupada gave them this holy philosophy. And by the association of Srila Prabhupada himself, and by serving Prabhupada, they became the great devotees. They are now the great sannyasis traveling across the world. They are the gurus in ISKCON. So it's possible. There is nothing impossible for Krishna. There is nothing impossible. Provided only one thing, we should have desire. We should open up ourselves, then Krishna will do impossible into possible. Yeah, many said doing work is our puja, karma yoga is important. So actually, karma, only doing work is karma. When the word yoga gets added, we'll see in the 3rd or 4th chapter, the title is Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga. The word yoga comes from yuj dhatu, and yuj means to add, jodna. So whom to add? Purpose of yoga is to add God into our life. So our work will become worship provided God is added. Like let's say some of you are doing job into the companies. Now what you do with the result of your job, like let's say you get earnings. Okay. Now how you use those earnings, that will decide whether your work is worship or not. People use only for their own sense gratification, for their only worldly livings. They don't use for the service of God. They don't give charity. They don't use that money to go to the holy places and hear about God or things. Then that money never, the earnings will not get sanctified. Correct? Or let's say whatever, any profession you say for that matter, somebody's housewife in the house. Okay, but if that food they're preparing, the things, they're not God conscious, they're not offering food to God, then their work will not be worship. So karma yoga, when we say yoga, it gets added as worship, is become worship. But if you say only karma, then even the atheist, I mean those who don't believe on God, they also do karma. Karma means simple work, only work. So that is the meaning. Yeah, I don't know about Sadhguru because I'm not from this place here, south or things. So, and I did not got time also to know about them. Prabhupada has given us so much philosophy and so many things, so much homework to do for our own life only. So Sadhguru's philosophy to hear and things, at least I did not got the time. So I'm sorry, that answer I cannot tell. Is it good to listen audio of Bhagavad Gita on YouTube, or conventional reading is must to get the best out of it? Yeah, I mean, whose audio you are hearing, that also matters. If you are hearing only shlokas, then okay, because shlokas also sanctifies a lot. It also brings out a good consciousness. But more better than that, we have to learn the lessons, what Krishna is telling. Now we discuss. Prabhupada so amazingly brought out the lesson. Arjuna was so qualified, Arjuna was so learned, but then it was of no use for him when the right time the problem came into his life. And then Prabhupada brought out the lesson that worldly things, our academic knowledge and things have no use when the real problem comes. So we have to check. Only hearing shloka is also good, not a problem, but best if you have Bhagavad Gita copyright itself. So we can read the shlokas. We also recite the shlokas every day, and then we read the translation, we read the purports, and then we have discussions. You are coming for Bhagavad Gita classes. So then that best way we can use it. That will be the best. Okay. So any other questions? So thank you very much for all of you giving time, and look into your own personal lives also, what are the we discussed. And I hope it's not becoming make you confused what we are discussing. And it will be great if you take a note of this so that at the end of the session, of course, we have video also shared. But then if already we make a notes and things, then it becomes easy. Then it becomes digested very easily. Philosophy becomes very handy. The points gets registered very quickly in the mind. So I hope it's making you clear. It's not so confusing because Prabhupada is given so beautifully. That's why it's become very easy to present. So look into our life and start chanting. Many of you are new maybe or might have not started, but our request is try to chant every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have mostly His Grace Sar Shramani Prabhu. So please make sure you attend tomorrow. So Prabhuji is very wonderful. He is our teacher also. And you can ask questions, you can clarify your things. It will be more enlightening for the understanding. Thank you. Hare Krishna.